Imagine that you're trapped in a room and you can't get out. The only way for you to get out is to dig a hole. And what kind of tool do you have? This, a plastic spoon. You have a plastic spoon to dig your way out of the room. Sounds kind of unlikely, right? Well, that's similar to the situation you put in when you take the PTE. You're not given the proper tools to do the actual exam. And what is that proper tool that I'm talking about? Time. Time management is crucial in the PTE, so we need to know where we can buy time to use it on other tasks. Now, when I say buy time, I don't mean to spend extra money to buy some extra time. This is where we need to know where we can get extra time from other tasks so we can apply it to the tasks that need it. And this is what we're going to talk about today. 3 effective ways to properly use the time. Number 1, buying time to write down the speaking templates. This will make your describe image and retell lecture much easier. Now, this is not guaranteed because it depends on the test center. But before the actual exam begins, you have time to test out your microphone. You also have to do a personal introduction. None of that is scored. The exam doesn't start until you press next. So before you do that, you can try to write down your speaking templates, whether it's describe image or retell lecture. So keep in mind though, the rule is you cannot write before the actual exam begins. So some test centers, the staff members will come around and warn you about that, not to write before the actual exam begins. And some other places, they just don't give a shit. Number 2, buying time to write down the essay template. Now let's face it, most of us are using essay templates, right? Everybody's got one. Now, some trainers give essay templates that are hella long. So if you only have 20 minutes to write down 200, 300 word essay, that's not a lot of time. Now, if you try to combine that with trying to remember your template and writing out the essay at the same time, that's not going to be an easy task. Now, this is going to depend on the technique that you use, or if you even have one. But I know for sure that my technique, when I do the summarized written text, I don't need the full 10 minutes. When we do the summarized written text, at the most, 5 minutes maybe, tops. And I'm pretty sure other people, their techniques can be done in a similar amount of time. So what are we going to do with that extra time? If you finish the summarized written text in 5 minutes, when they give you 10, what are you going to do? Are you going to press next? Hell no. Get a marker out, the markers that they give you, and start writing. Write out the essay template. If you have an essay template, this is where you start writing it out. Don't type it. You can't type and copy and paste onto the next task, so you must write it out by hand. Now, keep in mind, 5 minutes in summarized written text to write out an entire essay template might not be enough time. So what happens when you finish that first summarized written text? What happens when you actually do press next? You get another one. So now we repeat the process again, and you have another 5 minutes. 5 minutes might not be enough for you to write out your essay template, but 10 minutes better be. And some of us might even get 3 summarized written texts. So make sure you use the extra time wisely, because if we don't use it, we lose it. And in this situation, the next task is the essay, so we definitely want to be fully prepared when we get into the essay with the essay template in front of us. Number 3, buying time for the write from dictation. How much time are you going to have left when you get to that write from dictation? You know this is the most important task in the listening, so of course PTE is going to put this at the very end. So if you run out of time, say bye 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 to your writing score. The listening module has the most tasks. There are 8 of them. Now I know the very first task is similar. It's called the summarized spoken text. Now are we going to do the same thing? Are we going to save the time from the summarized spoken text and use it later in the write from dictation? Unfortunately, the time does not carry over. So in that situation, we're not going to be able to save time. It's timed individually in the summarized spoken text, and if you don't use it all, you use it or you lose it. But fortunately in the PTE, not all tasks are created equal. And by that I mean multiple choice questions. When you're dealing with multiple choice questions, sacrifice. Don't treat the multiple choice questions as if they were equal to the write from dictation. Now on top of that, just because the task is not named multiple choice doesn't mean it's not a multiple choice type question. If they give you multiple choices and they ask you to pick one, that's a multiple choice question. By minimizing the amount of time you spend on those tasks, you will have enough time to answer the write from dictation questions. Minutes, not seconds. You want minutes. There you have it. Now, since PTE does not provide a sufficient amount of time to answer all the questions. Now you know where you can buy that extra time. All right, so until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. If you like the tips and tricks that I provide, please check out my other videos. Peace.